Hello, hello. I am working in my garden this afternoon. My garden is not on the ground as most gardens are. Well, some. I don't know about most. We'd have to really do some research and see if all the gardens, how many of them are on the ground. But mine is on my sky deck that I showed you the other day because it's big and it's open and it gets a lot of light, and I just have to grow things in pots, of course. So part of getting things ready for this year's spring and summer growing season is taking out what was left from last year and turning the soil all around. So I've just ripped out some old roots and branches and little bits of leaves that are in there. And some of those, if they're small, I'm just going to leave them in because they will turn back into soil and make delicious food for the plants. But big ones I had to take out. This was from a tomato plant, and it has another little guy on the side that's not related at all. It's just another plant growing out of the first one, and it has this big strong stem that held up the big cherry tomato plant that I had. It was about 3 feet tall, as tall as you, and this one stalk held all of the tinier branches, so it was really important that it have a big root structure underneath so the whole plant didn't fall down. You can see it's got a big primary taproot there going all the way down to anchor the plant and get water, and it has all these secondary ones that are twisty and turny and a little fragile, and they are responsible for collecting all of the nutrients and food for the plant. Now these two I also pulled out of the same pot, and they must have grown in there at the end of the summer without me even noticing. These are from maple trees, and you can see at the very tippy top, where's my camera? There it is. It's starting to bud, and these are really interesting because they must have landed with those curved helicopter seed pods where if you split them, you can wear them on your nose, and they must have landed in the pot and started off. But trees can't really grow in pots for very long, so I needed to take them out. Maybe I'll even plant them someplace else, like down by the river. But this one has a huge root. This much was what was above the soil. And then there's a whole other stretch that was underneath. So it didn't look very big when I started to pull it out. But I pulled and I pulled and I pulled, and just like that story about the giant turnip, it just kept coming. It wasn't as big as a house though, thank goodness. So now I'm going to plant some lettuce. Most things it's still a little bit too cold to plant outside yet, so I'm starting some of them in seed trays inside our house. But lettuce is what it calls frost tolerant. Tolerant means that you can handle something even if it's a little bit hard. So you can start them early, even when it might still snow a little bit. We had a little bit of snow last week, but I'm hoping that we won't have any more for a while. And after you plant it, the seedling comes up and it should look like that. It'll have those initial starter leaves, and then it'll start growing its big leaves, and that's the part that you eat. And this says it's a medley, so that means that it's a mix of different kinds of lettuce, which I like for my salads because I think they're just that much more interesting when they have different textures and flavors. So when it said a medley and it meant a mix of different plants, this is what came out for the seeds. It has all these different shapes. I see little round dark ones that are almost black, lighter brown circular spherical ones, and then some long elliptical pointed ones. So I do not know truly which ones are which, but we will find out when they grow and hopefully make delicious things for me to eat. And I'll give some to Ruth too, because she loves lettuce. So this is a garden for both of us.